let's talk about the Jeremy Sochan San Antonio Spurs problem, which is him playing point guard that everyone seems to be so upset about. Clearly, it's not working. The Spurs are currently on a 12-game losing streak with no end in sight. But there's still a lot to take away, I reckon, from Sochan playing the point guard so far this season. Let's just start with this, okay? So far this season, the Spurs have a net rating of negative 12.5 with Sochan on the floor, with him having a 107 offensive rating and a 119.8 defensive rating when Jeremy Sochan is on the floor. Then when you look at the lineup data of 5-man combinations this season, as you can see, the most played lineup that we've run this year is Sochan at the 1, with Vassell at the 2, Keldon at the 3, Collins at the 5, and Wemby at the 4, and it has a plus minus of negative 15.8. So yeah, in terms of the lineup data of him running the point, even in the second lineup that comes in, so if you exchange Brandon for Vassell, since Vassell's been injured a bunch, it gets worse. It goes down to 23.7. So yeah, in terms of actual lineup data, Sochan at the point is not working. But I feel like there's a deeper thing to dive into, so let's just we'll get into it, okay? So when talking individual statistics, Sochan is averaging 10.5 points, 5.5 boards, 4.5 assists, and 1 stock per game. Shooting 42% from the field, 37% from the three-point range, 76% from the line. He has shown improvement in a lot of areas of his game, okay? He's not a bad player. I feel like people are very much conceding that he's a bad player now. That's not the case, okay? He's improved. His assist numbers are way up, as you can see. That comes when you handle the ball a lot more. He's improved his three-point shooting and his free throw shooting this season too, which are two big things that I think we need to give him more credit for, to be honest, because last year he was abysmal from 3, and so far this season, to start the season, on about the same attempts per game, he's making more. So I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a major positive. But it's also pretty clear to see, I think, this many games in, that he's not built to be a point guard. And while I don't mind the experiment, and even the losing, to be honest, I don't actually mind it too much, because we're still young, this team is still growing, this team is still learning each other, how to play with each other, and how everyone is most used effectively. So I'm willing to put up with losing at the cost of Sochan learning and developing, and everyone else developing as well. But the problem is the fact that we have a person who's playing a position he's never played before, and the problem is that he's struggling in that position, and he could be used more effectively in different ways, in my opinion. The biggest plus-minus group that the Spurs have run so far is Trey Jones at the 1, Vassell at the 2, Keldon at the 3, Sochan at his natural position at the 4, and Wemby at the 5. They have a plus 56.5 in games where they run this lineup. They've only played 15 minutes, so it's only their 7th most ran lineup, but it's clearly their most effective lineup. That top lineup, this top lineup has, in my opinion, the best balance of every possible lineup we could run. It has the playmaking of Trey Jones. It has the tough shot making of Devin Vassell, It has the all-around game of Sochan. It has the talent, defensive talent and offensive talent of Wembanyama, and it has third option Keldon, which is the best way Keldon can be used, is so as in lineups where he can just stick to straight line drives, occasional pick and roll, and catching and shooting from three. I think this is the lineup that I think the Spurs should use going forward. They should definitely explore this more. I would look into bringing Collins off the bench. That's my opinion. I know people have talked about bringing Keldon off the bench. I think Collins should come in off the bench. And I think Trey Jones should start. Again, this is the lineup that I think the Spurs should run most often. It is the lineup that I think puts everyone in their best position to succeed. Then you can do that thing with, Collins coming in. You can take him on for Wembanyama straight away. Have Wemby get his little rest. Then probably move. You can still experiment with Sochan at the point when you rest Trey Jones too. It also means Zach becomes your backup big instead of your starting big, and it means Bassi is relegated to your third string center, which is what I prefer personally. You still run Chetty, you still run Doug. You might have to throw Devontae Graham minutes, which is what I'm an advocate for. I think Devontae Graham deserves more minutes on this team, honestly. Because he's a good point guard. It's simple. He's a good point guard. He can play make, he can score, he can hit threes. It's simple. I want to see some Graham and Wembanyama minutes, honestly. But yeah, in the most played, or one of the most played lineups, two-man lineups, the duo of Sochan and Wembanyama is a minus 19.5. Again, I think that this will improve over time if you move Sochan back to his natural position. And you have him help. Again, Sochan's going to be a lot better as a secondary facilitator, passing from inside the paint. I think that's pretty clear. I think that's evident to most people. And so, in terms of the overall team development, I think it would be better if we just moved to Sochan at the point. So at the power forward. Don't get me wrong. I understand why Pop is doing this, and why the coaching staff is doing this and wants to see this. And I don't inherently hate it. I'll say that. I don't inherently hate it. But it is clear that, at least this season, it's not a winning formula. And if you're going to try and... It depends on what your goal is for this season. I'm not saying the Spurs should try and make the playoffs or anything like that. But I didn't think they'd be aiming for bottom 4 lottery status again. Which at the moment they're aiming for. At least it seems like it. But yeah, I think overall, again... I don't think this is all Sochan's fault. I think Sochan gets way too much blame for the current Spurs thing, losing streak. He does a lot of good when he's on the floor, okay? I just think that he needs to be, if he wants to be used most effectively, he should be playing his most natural position. So yeah, that was just my quick thoughts. That's all I really have to say on the matter. If you have your own opinions, please leave them down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe. I know I haven't made a few videos in the past couple of days. Just been a bit busy with work and stuff, that's all. But I'm trying to get back on that grind, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Peace out. Woo!